Hello, my crafty friends. Welcome to my channel. This is Tiffany. I am working on a project for a church get-together, church activity for the ladies. And I thought I should bring you along. I've kind of gotten this down to a science. I have definitely done notebooks before. But I found these notebooks on Amazon that were a great deal for, gosh, trying to remember if there were, I believe there are 48 in a box, these journals. And they're nice quality. I'm just putting a pretty cover on them. Let me show you the way they come. So they come like this, okay, with the brown cover on them. So I'm just ripping the brown cover off and putting a pretty cover on it. And this is something that I came up with a few years ago, and I do have a different video for that, and that is covering a junior size composition notebook. And these are a little bit bigger. So I wanted to show you this, and I'm going to link these below in case this would be great for like party favors, for a bridal shower or baby shower. This would be perfect for a Mother's Day church group type thing, or for a boutique if you wanted to sell them at a boutique. So these come out to be about 65 cents each, which is a great price. And they do have the little date and page little line up there, so just so you're aware of that. But I really like them. Yeah, for gifts and things. It's perfect. Great price. And if you can get some paper, on sale, then that's even helps even more. So yeah, this is what I've got done so far. So let me move these and we will get started. So the first thing we want to do is rip the covers off, and I figured out the best way to do this where you don't mess up your stitching or anything. So I do like that these are stitched. It's my favorite. Okay, so all we want to do is, and it seems that the stitching is closer to the back cover on all the ones I've done so far. Anyway, so I'm going to take that back cover and rip that off first, and I'm holding on to this top edge right here as I rip, so I don't like rip more than I want to, if that makes sense. Just rip it off like that, and then I'm going to take the other cover, and it should come off pretty easily after that. Oh, of course, not as easily as I thought it would, but yeah, and then you're not messing up any of your stitching. Easy as that. I'll do one more really quick. I only need like 4 more, but I think I'll just try and hurry and see how fast I can do 2 on camera. So I'm just gonna kind of bend those backwards and then pull that back one off. And then pull that front one off just as fast as that. So that one I didn't rip very well. But for some reason, rather than trying to rip the whole thing off at one time, like I usually do, and you can just pull those little extra pieces out because they will show when you're opening up your little notebook. Okay, so there's those, and you can, certainly use those for something. Then, get my paper here. And we want to cut our paper to, I have there it is, ta-da! To 8 inches by 11 1/4. Just a hair under 11 1/4 seems to work best. Okay, and then I am picky, as you know, and I like to see, where I want to cut off, what part I want to keep. And I know I want this to be the front of my journal right here. So I'm going to cut the 4 inches off here and make the 8 inches up here for our journal. So just go 8 inches. I'm covering that 8-inch mark. And I'm cutting 2 at a time. But this is a great paper trimmer. If you don't have one, I highly recommend this. It's got a wire down here that you can see exactly where you're cutting. So I always have my favorite tools linked below. And then we'll just cut off 3/4 of an inch, or just a smidge over. So we want it to be 11 1/4, just a hair under 11 1/4. Let's see. Whoops, that's 10 1/4. I'm glad I didn't cut that. 11 1/4. Trying to keep those both perfectly even. And okay, there's that. And then I want to, so the corners are rounded on this book. And you can use whatever corner rounder that you want to. I've found it would be way easier to, cut a bunch and then be able to use your corner chomper and round a bunch of corners at once. You could probably do 6 or 8 at a time. But that doesn't seem to be, either side does not seem to be quite the right size for me. I think you could get away with the 1/2 inch side if you didn't push it all the way in. But, and you can use, use whatever you have, of course. But I am just using, my Becky Higgins, which is not my favorite one, but it seems to make the perfect corner round for this size, for the way that these corners are already rounded. And like I said, I am super picky, especially if I'm selling something. But yeah, use whatever you have. Okay, there's that. And then I should get my works tool out. Okay, so, and then I want this side to be the front cover. I'm going to line that up on my scoring tool, and I'm going to score it at 5 1/2 and 5 3/4. Now that's a little tiny bit big, but we will work with it because the center is not quite, that's where we have to get it to make it work. So we just scored at 5 1/2 and 5 3/4. Pretty easy so far. And you don't need to really super crease these. Yeah, actually I think it's better, especially if you have paper that will crack a little bit, which this one seemed to. Just fold it softly. It doesn't need to be a sharp corner at all. Okay, and there. Go ahead and do my other one. 5 1/2 and 5 3/4. Can be a little tricky doing a little spine like this, but I just kind of roll my paper and then just kind of push that corner out like that. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Okay, and make sure it goes to the edge on the front and the back, and it's not quite right on the back. So I'm just going to push down on my spine a little bit because there is room in there, and make it go whichever way, it needs to go a little bit more. Okay, so there's the back and there's the front. And you just kind of mold it in, because if you were to go a 1/4 inch, this direction, it wouldn't fit right on the front. And if you were to start a 1/4 inch on the other side, it just doesn't work. This is what I found works the best. All right, and then we're going to put some clips on, whatever kind of clips you have, and find your center, which is not difficult. There's usually a little tiny gap in there. Let's see if I've got it, and you'll see the stitching on the inside. Okay, so I kind of stack it all up together, making sure the tops and the bottoms are even with my journal, and then just put the clips on the sides like that. Now I'm going to use my We Are Memory Keepers eyelet setter and punch some holes. And I've got it set so it will go, so it can go, you know, as far in as possible. Oh, I've got paper stuck in there. There we go. And I usually like hold this against my tummy right here. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's see if I can get it where, oh, you know what? Another thing I like to do is make a little mark. I've got some already done, but you might want to make a little mark where you know the center of, where you can, yeah, where the center of your spine would be. Approximately, you know, how far in it needs to be. Punch. Wait, this way. Okay. So I'm going to measure, kind of measure that, where that. So it's hard doing it on camera. But I'm going to put a little mark about right there, because it can be hard to find where the center of your spine is when you're doing this. Let's see. And then when you have some books already done, you can use them as a guide. And just go like this. Hold it up there. Mark the center of your spine. About that same height. Because it will be the same height every time with, if you've got this set, so it can go in as far as possible. All right, and then I just hold it against my tummy and I push. You've got to go over this little knob right here, so it can be a little bit tricky. And then find that mark. I'm not seeing that mark. I made it too high. That's okay. Let's see. Let's see if this one works. There we go. Right, so we've got a little hole, and I'm using the smaller hole because this is a small spine. Normally I do the bigger hole, but yeah, this just punches, this eyelet setter punches the holes like so perfectly. I wonder why that's not seeing it when I guess it is a little bit high. Okay, try that one again. Because you don't want to have your hole go over, so I do mark them. You don't want it to come over this way because it's not going to look good if you can see a hole over here. So I'm pretty careful with the holes, and I've got to get that. Paper always gets stuck in that one, in that smaller hole, so I take my stylus. Oh, it's out. Okay. There we go. Now I can see it. Okay. Hurry and do that with my other one. You can fast forward if you want, or you can watch me do it again. So I'm going to just making sure that it's all kind of molded. Okay. Find the center. There we go. Grabbed another pair of clips because I want to keep clips on them as I tie the bows, tie the ribbon through it. I can do 2 at a time. Okay, great. Then I'll mark my holes. Okay, punch those. Oops. Small hole. Had to get the paper out of the hole again. Not too difficult. Okay. Should really have my glasses on, but I don't want to look for them. Good. And then you want to make sure that they're all even along the bottom or top. And I just, it does get kind of wonky when you're going like this, but I just flatten everything out from the center like that. Just push my thumb on it like that. And that seems to work pretty well. It might, and you do always want to go, oh, more paper. You always want to go from the outside. Have your outside on top, because you want, the outside is the most important. You want that to look good with your holes. The inside is not going to matter if your hole might be a little off on the inside. That's pretty perfect, I'd say. But it doesn't matter on the inside, all right? And be careful not to, you know, mess up your sheet, your papers as you're getting it into your eyelet setter. All right, and then all we need to do is tie our bow, and then we can add, let's see, got those going the right direction. Isn't that beautiful? And then, let's see, ribbon. And I'm using it about 20, let's see, 26, 28 inches of my seam binding, and this is the flesh color. Beautiful, soft pale pink on this one. And I don't remember what this one, the darker pinks are. I believe this one's pink salmon. And I'll link those below. You can buy a whole 100-yard bolt for like, you know, under $20. And that comes out to be like, you know, 18 cents a yard or something like that, which is much cheaper than buying, you know, a few yards at a time. And you can spray it with a water bottle and scrunch it up if you want it to be, you know, all wrinkly, your scrunched seam binding. That's a really cute look. But for this, something like this, I'm just using it as it is. And I will take my, and this, my stylus, and this is just from the Dollar Tree, but use whatever you have. You could probably use a pen that's out of ink. You don't want it to be too sharp though, or it won't go through the hole. But I take the bigger ball and just push it through right here. I leave maybe 1/4 of an inch of the ribbon all around and push it through like that. And I do use my fingernails. If you have fingernails, that helps. And I'll take the other side, trying to keep my ribbon straight. I don't like it when it gets twisted up, but, you know, maybe you're not as picky as I am. And just push that through like that. And then I make sure that I've got my top here. I want the bottom of the ribbon to be a bit longer than the top, so I'll pull it like this. Okay. And then tie a bow. And I like my bow to be closer to the top. But of course you can do it however you want to, whatever makes you happy. I want you to be happy. Tie your bow like that, and that is about it. And you can just leave them like that. You can, you know, decorate them. You can use your scraps to make a bookmark. Isn't that pretty though? You can use your scraps to make a little pocket. I think I will go ahead and maybe I'll do one of each just to show you. So you've got this much left. It's 4 by 12. So you could do, you know, you could cut a little skinny pocket and have a skinny bookmark. I think I'm gonna do maybe a 3, no, let's do 2.5. Let's do 2.5 inch pocket. This side's, yeah, I want that side. But that was pretty quick, right? To make your basic notebooks. Okay, so 2.5. Oh, I probably shouldn't have cut that whole thing. but you will. And then 8 inches tall. Can't see me, can you? Going right to the end of the 8-inch mark. Hopefully that will be perfect. Let's see. Pretty close, pretty close. And then you can just go ahead and glue it on and then round your corners. Might have been easier to round your corners, you know, all together after you've glued your pocket on, but anyway. I like it this way for some reason. So I will just go ahead and round those corners. And I want a little notch there. I think it makes it so much cuter. Oh, darn. I like to put my notch right up higher, but I don't want to punch out that daisy. So, yeah, put your notch in the center, or, yeah, I really like it up higher, but because if you go up high, then you don't have to worry about finding your center exact, you know what I mean? Can just kind of go like this and just do a little pinch there, and that will tell you where your center is. I'll just do that. So I don't want to cut out those cute daisy petals. Okay, perfect. Wouldn't it cute to do some stitching, some sewing around it? I'll grab my glue. This is my favorite glue. Art Glitter glue. And I did find a good deal on this a little while ago, and I'll link it. I don't know if it's still the same price as it was, but hopefully it was, I think, $10. If we can get it to come out. There we go. Can't quite see that. Probably shouldn't be working over my project, but oh well. Glue is not coming out super good. That is a very, very fine line. But that's what you want when you have a pocket, because then you'll have as much space as you can get in your pocket. And just glue that on. So we didn't glue this side. We don't want that side glued because obviously then it wouldn't be a pocket. Might need to trim that off just a hair, but that looks pretty good actually. Let's look at the front side. Okay, I'm gonna push that in just a hair. Here we go. That looks good. Oops, oops, oops. Pushed it too much. Okay. All right, and there we go. I also have some labels that make it extra cute. Isn't that fun? That makes it a little more sturdy also. You do want to pick a good sturdy paper for this project. I've got these labels that I've had for a long time in my stash. I'll have to see if I can find some to link for you. Something similar, but let's see. Can't tell if that's straight. I think it's no, that's not straight. And I'd probably want to add a bit of glue on it if I'm playing with it like this, but okay, close enough. I think that's close enough. Isn't that pretty though? You could add a little charm here if you wanted to, if you're selling them or something. Tie a little sweet little charm on there, or some journal jewelry. I have a journal jewelry, I can't even say it, video, but that lovely? There's your center with your ribbon through there. You could also add a little charm there and have it hang, tie it with a string or something, let it hang there. And then if you wanted to do some bookmarks, I don't know if that's quite wide enough for a bookmark to me, that little piece left. So you might have to pick and choose. But if you cut it at 2 inches, yeah, that, I don't know. Yeah, that's up to you, your preference, but you could just cut your scrap in half at 2 inches, and then you could get a bookmark and a front pocket, or you could do a front and a back pocket out of it. So, but yeah, for your scraps, maybe I'll just use this piece. What's this little piece I've got here? That is, oh, that's the rest of my 2.5 piece. So, but yeah, I have this awesome punch that I love so much. I know I'm always showing this, so you can skip ahead if you've seen it, but oh gosh, do I want to do that way? Maybe. But it makes the easiest little tags or bookmarks. Isn't that cute? So yeah, if you had a longer piece, that would be a super cute bookmark. Gosh, I guess, you know, I guess that could be a bookmark. You could tuck it in there. But yeah, and tie a little piece of ribbon on that too if you want to. Or some yarn or something. And I need to finish my other journal. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, you guys. I think this would be a great project for Mother's Day or a party. Or a boutique. Yeah. Take care and stay safe.